All right. So, we are going to be talking about the fivefold ministry. And the reason we're going to do this is because we all need to know what our gifts are, what our talents are, um where we fit, so that when you know your purpose, you know your plan, you're able to do what you're supposed to do, or not so much as do what you're supposed to do, but like walk into the calling. We have to start from scratch because this is something that we needed to start there. So when we talk about the fivefold ministries, that comes out of Ephesians chapter 4. I'm going to start at verse 7 in the Message Bible, and then I'll go to the Amplified. So the Message Bible reads in verse 7, starts at verse 7. So this is talking about to be mature. So when we talk about maturity, as we are growing and we are evolving as women, we have to be mature. And that's mature in every area, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. We have to be mature in all of these areas. So um talking about that, so I'm probably gonna read this whole context up until verse 13. Um, so I'm gonna start at verse 1 in the Message. It says, "In the light of all of this, here's what I want you to do. While I'm locked up here, a prisoner for the master, I want you to get out there and walk, be better, yet run on the road God called you to travel. I don't want any of you sitting around with your hands. On your hands. I don't want anyone strolling off down some path that goes nowhere." Perfect message for tonight. "And mark that you don't do this with humility and discipline." It says that you do this with humility and discipline, not in fits and starts, but steadily pouring yourselves out for each other in acts of love, alert at noticing differences and quick to mending fences. You are all called to travel on the same road in the same direction, so stay together, both onwardly and inwardly. You have one master, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who rules over all, works through all, and is present in all. Everything you are and think and do is permeated in oneness. This is where we get to the ministries. Verse 7. I'm going to read through 13. It says, "But that doesn't mean you should all look and speak and act the same. Out of one, out of the generosity of Christ, each of us is given his own gift. The text for this is, he climbed the high mountain, he captured the enemy and seized the plunder, he handed it out in gifts to the people. It is not true. It is not true that one who climbed up also climbed down to the valley of earth. And the one who climbed down is the one who climbed back up to the highest heaven. He handed out gifts above and below, filled filled heaven with his gifts, filled earth with his gifts. He handed out gifts of apostles, prophets, evangelists, and pastors and teachers to train Christ's followers in skilled servant work, working within Christ's body, the church, until we're all moving rhythmically and easily with each other, efficient and graceful in response to God's Son, fully mature adults, fully developed within and without, fully alive like Christ. We got to grow up. That's all I'm going to say. All right. So Amplified reads verse 11. Well, I'll start at verse 1. It says, let's see. Unity of spirit. So the Message gives you a different one where it talks about growing up, being mature. Okay. So this one is, it says, "So I, the prisoner of the Lord, appeal to you to live life worthy of the calling to which you have been called. That is, to live a life that exhibits godly character, moral courage, personal integrity, a mature behavior, a life that expresses gratitude to God for salvation." Verse 2 says, with all humility, forsaking self-righteousness and gentleness, maintaining self-control with patience, bearing with one another in unselfish love. Verse 3, make every effort to keep oneness of the Spirit in the bond of peace, each individual working together to make the whole successful. There is one body of believers and one Spirit, just as you were called to one hope when called to salvation, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of us all, who is sovereign over all and working through all and living in all. Yet grace, God's underserved favor, was given to each one of us, not indiscriminately, but in different ways, in proportion to the measure of Christ's rich and abundant gift. Therefore, it says, when he ascended on high, he led captivity captive. He bestowed gifts upon men. And that comes from Psalm 68 and 18. Now, this expression, he ascended, what does it mean except that he also had previously descended from the heights of heaven into the lower parts of earth? Verse 10, he who descended in the very same as he who also ascended above all in the heavens, that he, his presence, might fill all things, that is the whole universe. Verse 11, he and his gifts to the church were varied, and he himself appointed some apostles, special messengers, representatives, some as prophets, who speak the new message from God to the people, some as evangelists, who spread the good news of salvation, and some as pastors and teachers, to shepherd and guide and instruct. And he did this to fully equip and perfect the saints, God's people, for works of service, to build up the body of Christ, the church, until we all reach oneness in the faith and in the knowledge of the Son of God, growing spiritually to become mature believers, reaching to the measures of the fullness of Christ, manifesting his spiritual completeness and exercising our spiritual gifts in unity. Verse 14 says, so that we are no longer children, spiritually immature, tossed back and forth like ships in a stormy sea, and carried about by every wind of shifting doctrine, by the cunning and trickery of unscrupulous men, by the deceitful scheming of people ready to do anything for personal profit, but speaking, verse 15, the truth in love, in all things, both our speech and our lives expressing his truth. Let us grow up in all things into him, following his example, who is the head, Christ. For from him, the whole body, this verse 16, from him, the whole body, the church, in all its various parts, joined and knitted firmly together by whatever joint supplies, when each part is working properly, causes the body to grow and mature, building itself up unselfish love. I think that's what I read in the Message Bible, right? It went to 14. So I'm going to go back to the Message and read 14 through 16. So it says, no prolonged infancies among us. You've been babies too long. Okay. You've been thinking like a baby too long. No prolonged infancies. Okay. We will not tolerate babes in the wood, small children who are easy prey for predators. God wants us to grow up, to know the whole truth, and to tell it in love. Like Christ in everything, we take our lead from Christ, who is the source of everything we do. He keeps us in step with each other. His very breath and blood flows through us, nourishing us so that we will grow up healthy in God, robust in love. And the church said, amen. That's the whole message in itself.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a whole message in itself. So the reason I wanted to do this was because I know we are not walking in the highest parts of our gifts. Um, we are lackadaisical, we are unsure, we are unaware. Um, and it's like when he talks about the uh the representatives. So let me get to that scripture. Hold on. Got to highlight it so I don't forget it. When he talks about where did he say? Spirit help me find it. So verse 14, so that we are no longer children, spiritually immature, tossed back and forth like the wind. Okay, he said, tossed back and forth like ships on a stormy sea, just wavering back and forth, flopping back and forth. You ain't drowned, but you're just kind of going back and forth. He said, and to be carried about by every wind of shifting doctrine. So every time something new comes, you follow that or you get blown away by it because it's something new, or it's something that you feel is like, "Oh, this is great." By the cunning and trickery of the unscrupulous men, by the deceitful scheming of people ready to do anything for personal profit. We see this all the time. We're seeing it now more than ever, especially on TikTok with, all the readers and all these people out here that are, they say, they're called, and the thing that we're seeing now more than ever is that they're going back and forth on the internet, bickering, prophets talking about one another. It's sad. Okay. So when we talk about maturity, we should be, and he said it in the Message Bible, where he said, where in the words of the message, where he said there's a let me get it. Nope, that was in the Amplified. Hold on, it was in the Amplified. Um, it was a flow. Where was the flow? Where was the flow? From him, the whole body, the church, in all its various parts, joined and knitted firmly together by whatever joint supplies, when each part is working properly, causes the body to grow and mature, building itself up in unselfish love. This was in the Message Bible, where they were the words that they gave. Um, woohoo. Come on, Spirit. Um, oh, here it is. Um, it says he handed out gifts of apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, teachers to train Christ's followers in skilled servant work, working within Christ's body, the church, until we are all moving rhythmically and easily with each other, efficient and graceful in response to God's Son, fully mature adults, fully developed within and without, fully alive like Christ. I had never seen Jesus going back and forth with the Pharisees. Had you? I had never seen it. All this bickering going back and forth that we got with these prophets, and you want to tell this, you want to tell that. We are out of sync. Okay. We are not moving in a rhythm at all. We are not moving in a mature way. It's really, you are now having an adult temper tantrum because someone said something about you. They talked about Jesus to his face. Matter of fact, they were saying it within themselves, and he heard it. Who are
Hmm.
you talking about? Because I mean, I hear them. You hear the conversation, but are you talking about me? Who said it was illegal for me to do anything? That's your law. That's not the law of heaven. That's not the law. You created that law. So how are you going to tell me? This is Jesus telling them, no, because I heard you. So when we go through this, we are not moving rhythmically at all. In this group, we are not moving rhythmically at all. We are not mature adults because we have things happen to us and we fall, and it says we get tossed. The waves come and we get tossed to and fro like a ship on a sea. Just tossed. Everything could just come and just tear us up. And we know it happens to us because of the fate that what happens when we come here. We can see it on each other. And because we should be so in tune with each other, we should know to have the phone call or the conversation. Hey, girl, something's going on. What's going on with you? But because we're so disconnected, and I don't want to blame it on the fact that we are in different cities, we are energetically aligned with each other. We are energy sources. If God can know that He can, if Jesus is on a whole road, and a soldier comes to him and says, "Listen, I got a man back at home, and he's sick. uh can you?" And Jesus is like, "Well, do you need me to come?" No, no, no. Because just like I can tell my soldiers to do this and that and they obey, I know that your word, all you got to do is say something and it'll happen. Jesus didn't even have to go there. Energetically, he just spoke a word and said, because you believe that, go ahead and go back home. He's free. He's okay. So it's the word that we have. We are energetically aligned with each other to where. Are we? Because we don't, I don't know. I don't get the phone calls. It's not just about me, the one person giving the message. It's about all of us in a whole saying, God told me, or this is what I heard today. We don't have that conversation within this group. Okay. So he says, one Lord, one faith, one baptism. It's not a thing of it's me and then it's y'all. We're all one. We are all one and unified. Okay. So, what I want to learn, what I want us to talk about is each of the gifts. Okay. The way they have it in the Bible is they have the pastor and teacher are combined. Okay. They're like shepherds and a guide, is what they say. So, I guess they separated it. I'm sorry. Sorry. All right. So, when we go down to verse 11, and this is in the Amplified, it says, and his gifts to the church were varied. He himself appointed some as apostles, the special messengers, okay, the representatives. He appointed some as prophets who speak a new message from God to the people, and some evangelists, those who spread the good news of salvation, and some as pastors to shepherd, and teachers to guide and instruct. Okay? Says, and he did this to fully equip and perfect the saints, God's people, for works of service, to build up the body of Christ, the church, us, until we all reach oneness in faith and in the knowledge of the Son of God, growing spiritually. What I am seeing is that the spiritual growth is delayed. It is within this group of women, the spiritual growth is delayed. And if I'm wrong, I ask God to forgive me. But I don't see the spiritual growth. Okay. To become a mature believer, reaching to the measure of fullness of Christ, meaning reaching to the measure of fullness in the word. Because who was Christ? When we understand the word, you'll understand all of how it comes together. Christ, John 1 and 1. Tara, do you have your Bible? Because I don't have mine.
I'll get it. It's not even a second from me.
All right.
And close my door. You said John 1 and 1?
You see them little things up there? Them breakfast. Yes, John 1:1. And I think it goes down to verse 4, if I'm not mistaken. And you steady
John,
sitting there using what I'm telling you not to use.
John chapter 1, verse 1.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the Messenger Bible.
Okay.
The Word was first, the Word present to God. God present to the Word. The Word was God in readiness for God from day one. That's really different. The Word was first, the Word present to God. God present to the Word was God in readiness for God from day one. That's the Messenger Bible.
All right.
You want me to read the second one?
I want you to go to, hold on, let me figure it out. Um, so in the message, it says, go to, I think, verse 5. Go to 5.
Yeah. Everything was created through him. Nothing, not one thing, came into being without him. What came into existence was life, and the life was light to live by. The light blazed out of the darkness. The darkness couldn't put it out.
Okay, so that's out of the message. I'm going to read it out of the Amplified. The deity of Jesus. Okay. We got to understand Jesus is the word in flesh. Okay. So in the beginning, before all time, this is out of the Amplified, was the word, Christ. That's what it says. Okay. And the word was with God. So Christ was with God. And the word was God himself. So Jesus is the word in flesh. Okay, that's Genesis 1, Isaiah 9 and 6. He continually, and wait, he was continually existing in the beginning, co-eternally with God. So the word was existing with God. Okay, existing. All things were made and came into existence through him. So when God spoke, let there be light, it came through who?
Christ.
Jesus, the word. Came through him. Okay? It's what it says. And without him, not even one thing was made that has came into being. In him was life and the power to bestow life. And the life was the light of men. Okay? The light shines on in darkness, and the darkness did not understand it or overpower it or appropriate it or absorb it, and it is unreceptive to it. Genesis 1 and 3. All right? We are Jesus, word. We go silent for 400 years. Old Testament. Jesus was just a word that we heard in the Old Testament. There was no formality to it. It was just the word. So when God spoke a thing, what happened? Life happened.
Yeah. He spoke it
Miracles
into life.
happened. Change happened. Yes? Okay. He goes silent for 400 years. And this is just my analogy. I believe that he went silent for 400 years because he wants to know, did you ever understand the voice? Did you understand it? Because I was teaching you in the beginning and now I got to go silent because I got to help you understand. So for me, how I look at it is he went silent because I got to do something different because they're not really understanding who I am and what I'm doing in them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it took him 400 years. Now remember, one day is of 1,000 years to
Yeah.
him. So one day he's sitting, he's like, you know what? Maybe I'll just make myself fleshly. Oh, you know. I'll just put the word in the earth so that he can show them what to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he puts the word, speaks the word, and puts it into a woman and tells her, I want you to give birth. Because when you understand what you're giving birth to, I'm going to put it into you. So, so when we talk about, oh, they're breaking it down for me. When we talk about we are the church,
Mm-hmm.
you know that song, Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. Prepare
All
me
true.
to be a place of safety.
Mm-hmm.
So he picks Mary because he knew Mary wasn't, she was a place of safety. She was pure and holy, tried and true. So I'm going to put my word into this woman and I'm going to create life inside of her so that life comes in her and it comes out of her. That's a message in itself. So I put life in her so that life can come out of her, right? So now life is outside of her and life is showing us what we need to do. That we speak life and death. Okay? We are the church, pure and holy, tried and true. So we got to speak life to ourselves or to our situations. We can speak life and death to a thing. When I talk about death, remember when Jesus was walking along the road and he saw the fig tree and it wasn't doing what it needed to be done because it was out of season. It was trying to do a thing that wasn't even in its season. At the time that Jesus saw it, the fig tree was doing something that it shouldn't have been doing at that time. Okay?
Yep.
It was out of season.
I see
I don't
it.
know who that's for, but you're out of season. You're doing a thing that you shouldn't be doing in that season. Okay? That season is over. Matter of fact, that season hasn't even come for you, and you're trying to birth something in a season that he hadn't told you to birth it in.
Wow.
Amen. So then he
Amen.
says to the fig tree, you'll never bear fruit again because you are doing it in a time that you shouldn't have been doing it. Now I'm not saying that he's telling us that we're never going to do it, but we have to understand that he spoke death to a thing and the tree and it died right there in his presence. Peter, hi, oh, did you see that? Because that's what they said. Now I like to, I'm very animated and I like to give my whole dissertation on it. Can you imagine a tree just withering up right in front of you? Peter's like, oh my goodness, did you see that? Hey, y'all, did y'all see that? Okay. And Jesus is like, like for me, I'd be like, what are you so bewildered about? Like, why are you so astonished about that? Because I'm trying to teach you this. Okay. I'm teaching you how to do what I'm doing. All right.
All right.
So we get down to Ephesians now, and where we have gotten as a group of women, because we're on this journey, and it says it in the beginning of this chapter, where you're on this journey. But as you're on this journey, what are your gifts? Because some of us are just walking along and we're not really in tune with the gift that we have. And so we're just, and if we are, and I'm not saying that you're not, but if you are in tune with the gift that you have, why are you not operating in that gift on a day-to-day basis? That is where we are at right now. Okay. So I've been dealing with this since last week, and I've been talking to God about it because I was like, God, what is going on? And am I not doing the work? I'm doing the work, but what I'm finding is that the the work is not being done by everybody else. So you're on your journey and work is not getting done. Okay. Where are we at, Tarina? Get yourself together. Get it back together. I'm going back to Ephesians chapter 4. Okay. So he tells us that I think this was Paul. Was this Paul? Paul. Paul is locked up. I don't have my
That's
Bible.
Paul.
Okay. So I believe
Peter.
Paul is locked up at this point, and
Mm-hmm.
he's telling them, hey, while I'm locked up, okay, you guys have learned a lot of things. Okay. I'm a prisoner for the master. This is where I don't want you guys to get messed up and think it's martyrdom and you have to be a martyr for Christ and nothing good's going to come to you and I'm always going to be down and out and I'm always going to be this way because I've chosen to walk this path and I've chosen to be with Christ. No, no. Stop thinking that. Get that out of your mind. That is not what it is. Okay? Not what it is at all. Okay. He says, I want you to get out there and walk. He said, better yet, run the race. Okay. On the road, God called you to travel. Don't just get out there. And he says, I don't want any of you sitting around on your hands. This is what I'm noticing. No one is moving. You're sitting around on your hands. And you're not using your gifts. You're not getting out there. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. There's no, it's like, where's the change? Where is that happening at? And he says, I don't want anyone strolling off down some path that goes nowhere. You're not even going down the path that I told you to go down. You're not even doing what I've told you to do. Why are you over there? Who told you to go that way? You haven't even talked to me. We talked about that last week. You haven't even sat down and talked to me to ask me anything. And then you just go out here willy-nilly. You make these irrational decisions. You're making irrational business plans. You're making irrational relationship, connections. You're making irrational job, searches. You're doing things outside of me. Who told you to go that? I never told you to go that way. I never said go over there. And even if I'd have told you to go that way, you probably still wouldn't have done it. Now, here's the thing. I'm not getting on nobody. I'm getting on all of us. Every last one of us has done things where we are falling short on our journey and wondering why we are weary, why we tired, why we crying, why we haven't made anything. The one thing that I said last year was I wanted us to start being the women that had the miracle signs and wonders. I wanted people to see us. I wanted to talk about that. I don't want to keep talking about what happened 3, 5 years ago or yesterday, the down. No, I mean, it happens. Life is happening. But where's the miracle? This is what he's telling them. You sitting on your hands. You got so many gifts. He died for that. He created some apostles, teachers, prophets, pastors, and evangelists. He created you. Are you even walking in that? Do you even know what it is? When we get to spirituality, are you clairvoyant? Are you clairaudient? Are you clairsentient? Are you clairvoyant? What is it? Are you using it? Are you an empath? Are you intuitive? Are you a seer? Can you see it? What are you doing? Okay, so he says, mark that you do this with humility and discipline, not in fits and starts, not starting it and then stopping it. We've all done it. We can't sit here and say that we haven't. We start a thing, we stop a thing. We start a thing, we stop a thing. We start a thing, we stop a thing. He says, but steadily pouring yourselves out for each other in the acts of love, alert at noticing differences and quick to mending fences. We should have the gift of discernment so tight that I know something ain't right. Let me go ahead and call. Hey, girl. And you know why we're not even there? Because you're not even in your prayer closet. Remember I said you can't get a word if you don't go to the word.
Exactly.
How you going to get something and you don't even go to, and then you have this expectation. This is what happens with the church. Then people go to church Sunday after Sunday, Wednesday after Wednesday, Saturday after Saturday, whatever church you go to, you're just going to church and you're waiting for the pastor or whoever to give you the word that you should have got at home. And I remember telling y'all when we first started this group, I'm only here to confirm that which he had already told you.
Exactly.
So that means if you're sitting with him and you're communing with him and you're having conversation with him, he should have already told you what your gift was. He should have already told you what you're supposed to be doing. He should have already told you something. And all I'm here to do is confirm that which he had already told you. As the intuitive or the prophet or whatever you want to call me, I'm just here to tell you that. But because there's another layer to the gift of intuitiveness, now I'm guiding you to tell you, all right, so this is what you need to do. Go there. That's where the readings come in. Okay, well, you got some work to do. You got to do this. I'm not here just to be playing with y'all. I told you, I'm not here to be playing and tantalizing and fluffing you. I'm here to give you the raw, unadulterated. This is real.
Yep.
This is for real. I'm not telling you nothing that I've just learned from well, I just went to class and I went to this school. No, everything that I learned, I told y'all, I learned from God Himself. If I ask anything, I have to ask God, what do we learn? What are we gonna learn today? Because that comes directly from the source. I'm not giving y'all nothing that I looked up on TikTok and was just like, oh, let me see this on TikTok or Pinterest or whatever. This came straight from the source. Let's talk about persistence. Oh, okay, persistence. Okay, so what do you mean? And while we're talking about it, he's just downloading it so I can give it to you, so I can tell you, listen, you on a path that he didn't even tell you to go down. Did he tell you to do that? And when you seek him, are you listening to the voice? Are you watching the signs? He gives you signs everywhere. We are not back in the Old Testament and the New Testament. We are in a whole different century where there's going to be
Mm-hmm.
signs, where he's going to tell you to do a thing and he's going to confirm his word. Because he said it, my word shall never return unto me void. And I don't want to say never. He said, my word shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish what I sent it to do. So if I sent you as a teacher, you're going to be a teacher. Okay? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If I sent you as the prophet, you're going to be the prophet. Now, understand, we all have the fivefold ministry. Okay? We all operate in them all. Okay? They're all present in us. We all have them. Okay? We just operate in one more higher than the other. Okay? How do we operate in these different gifts? What is the main thing that is more magnitude? For me, it's teaching. I am a natural born teacher. That is who I am. I cannot change it no matter how hard I try. I'm going to teach you what I need, what needs to be taught. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, hold on, let me get it. Let me go back to it. So I'm going to be the teacher. We'll find it. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So I'm going to be the teacher where I'm going to, what did I lose it? Hold on, y'all, now, because I done lost it again. Oh, here it is. So 11. I got to change the color. Okay. So I am the teacher who is there to guide and instruct you. Okay. And then there's the shepherd. The shepherd is there as a pastor to love you, to give you compassion. Okay. Then we operate in the evangelist. I spread the good news. I give you the good news. In the teaching, I'm giving you the good news, right? Then there
Mm-hmm.
are the prophets, the one who speaks the new message of God. So the new message that comes, I'm giving you the message and I'm telling you, hey, Tara, so there's this guy that's going to be coming and da 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 da, right? Prepare for
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay. And then it's the appointed the apostles, the special messenger or the representative. Now I'm showing up as a representative. I'm the teacher representing the word to give you the good news in a loving way to guide you. You see how I tie that all together? To guide you and to instruct you. My main gift, teaching. All right? So we are
All
going to
right.
learn our gifts. What do you operate more in? There is no test like there would be a test in the job scene where you can do a test and you're like, oh, I'm this, I'm an introvert, or I'm a EKG, whatever, EFMG, whatever, those things. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, so you'll know exactly what gift you operate in. Where do you lean more towards? Okay. So I broke it down in the capacity. Oh, trying to itch my ear. That's not what I want. All right. So, fivefold ministries. You have the apostle, often understood as the foundation, the leaders, the missionaries, the evangelists of the early church, often with divine authority. That's the apostle. Then you have the prophet, the individual who receives and delivers the message from God, often a prophetic voice or a vision. So you'll be able to see it and hear it. Now, because spiritually you go into the whole aspect of it, I can smell it, and sometimes I can taste. Okay. Um, that's we're doing spirituality and religion. Okay. All right, so the evangelists are those who actively share the gospel and seek to bring people to faith. So it's the Peters, the Pauls, the Matthews, the 12 disciples, where I actively teach you and then I bring you into, I bring you to me. I share the good news and then I tell you, come to church. It's like the other day I was in meditation and a couple of those little Jesus Christ, the Latter-day Saints, the little boys, they had the little tag. I just remember I was in meditation and I came to the door and I had hit this good spot in meditation. I started crying, but I hear these people knocking at my door and I thought it was my kids coming back. So I go to the door and it's these two little boys from the Church of the Latter-day Saints. And he sees the tears and he's just like, well, we were just here to invite you to church. I said, oh no, thank you. I'm not interested. Thank you. I appreciate it. So he sees me. He says, well, can I tell you more about Christ? And I was like, no, I'm good. Thank you. I said, I was in meditation. So thank you very much. And I went back to what I was doing. But that's what that is. The evangelist, they give you the good news and they tell you to come on. You want to come to church? Right? And then you have the pastors. The pastors are the shepherds of the local church. So they're local. They don't move outside of anything. They stay local within their area. Okay. They're responsible for spiritual well-being and the guidance of the congregation. Okay. So you stay put. You don't really travel much. You just stay local. You know, you may go to church, but anything outside of that, I don't know. I mean, it's happening nowadays, but this is how they created it. You stay local, okay? And then there's the teachers, those who instruct and equip believers with biblical knowledge and understanding. That is me. I am the teacher. I equipped you with biblical knowledge and the understanding of it so that when I get the message as the prophet and I receive and I deliver the message to you, that I actively begin to share the evangelistic part of it, the gospel, and bring you to where we are in this shepherd kind of way in being responsible for your spiritual well-being and the guidance of this group as the apostle, the leader, okay, the foundation of the group. That is who I am. So I am the teacher who has the understanding as the foundation leader. Um, how did I do this? Okay, who receives and delivers the message to the people, and I actively share the gospel and bring you to the faith and help you in your spiritual well-being and the guidance. Okay, that's what I do. I'm here, teacher, apostle, well, apostle, teacher, da da da. I don't want to be calling myself like I'm apostle such and such. No, I don't get into titles because I really don't care. But that's where we are. Okay. So when you find your gift, I want you to really figure what is the gift. And I want to see if there's a test to find out what your spiritual gifts are.
Hmm. I want to say we had one time when we talked
Didn't
this
we?
before.
We did.
We did. We did.
Yes, spiritual gifts. Yeah, We did.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And did anybody do it? See, those are the kind of things he's saying you're sitting on your hands. If I give you as a teacher the instructions or the guidance for your spiritual well-being, and you sit on your hands, what do you expect? I do remember that. I remember I gave that to you a long time ago.
I remember that.
Um, oh yeah, she black, so we gonna do hers.
You found one? I was looking for one too.
She's a coach. She does the coaching. Um, let's see. Is this a survey? This is a survey. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
try this one first and let me see. Oh, 27 questions. So this one, I'm gonna try this one and then I'll let y'all know what I get. Um,
This is 85 questions. I don't want to do that one.
Girl, no ma'am. You don't need 85 questions to tell me who I am. But you should know. Here's the thing. You should already know.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about it that you should already know what your gift is and what you operate in the most. Okay? Are you a teacher? Are you a apostle? Are you a evangelist? Right? What are you? Let's see. I have a consuming passion for without great intent. Well, that's 27 questions. I don't know, Miss Tara.
Come on, you can do it.
Right
Yeah.
now, I'll do it later.
Well, then we ain't gonna know if this one I can take. We can all take it. I want to take it. Which one you want?
Well, we're on
Oh,
the call. Well, hold on. Let me pause it. Okay. So with that, learning our gifts, we are going to learn accountability. Okay. Because when we look at the scripture in Ephesians, when Peter, I want to say Peter wrote this text, um, Peter or Paul, one of the two, and he was telling them, I don't want y'all sitting on your hands. Okay. I want you to be accountable, not just to yourself, but to each other. It's what he said. Okay. It's being accountable. So he's saying here that make every effort to keep the oneness of the spirit in the bond of peace, each individual working together to make the whole successful. That's being accountable to each other. We need to learn how to be accountable to each other. Okay. Um, so he says, uh, working together to make the whole successful. This is one body of believers and one spirit, just as you were called to one hope when God called to salvation. So he's saying working together. It's the sovereign all over all and working through and living in all. So we need to learn to be accountable for each other. So with that being said, having accountability is there's going to be some assignments. You're going to be held to those assignments. And with that being said, I'm going to say it and might not like it, but if you don't want to do the assignments, it would be in your best interest to just go ahead and call it. Okay. This is the time that I'm going to be as real as I possibly can. If you don't want to do the assignments, then it's in your best interest to go ahead and call it and don't come back on a Wednesday because we got to be accountable. We have been sitting on our hands too long and your journey is going to be delayed. You will delay yourself if you're not doing the work. It says it. I'm not telling you nothing that I'm just making it up. It's right here. He said it in the word. Okay. If I had my Bible, I would slap my Bible. You know I would. You are delaying yourself by not doing the work. How can you get a word if you don't go to the word? How do you know which journey to go on or which road to take if you're not asking, what road am I supposed to take? Everything coincides. He tells us, ask me, and I'll tell you which way to go. We talked about that last week. The way I think, it ain't the way you think. My thoughts don't even line up with your thoughts. I don't even process things the way you process things. My thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. The way I think so much higher than you. But you would never know that because you don't come and sit with me and talk to me and ask me the things that you should be doing. You'd rather sit there and wallow in a pig pen rather than get up and come back to your father's house. And that's a message in itself. You'd rather wallow in all of the things that you got going on rather than get up and say, uh, even the servants eat better than me right now. I've squandered. Here's the thing. When we talk about the prodigal child, the prodigal son, he asked for God, give me everything. Give me everything, Daddy. And he gave it to him. He went out and squandered it. We hang out with people that don't give a rat's tail behind us, about us, for us, don't care if we were to ever go through anything. Those people that we out here hanging out with, that we just chilling with, drinking with, would they have my best interest at heart? When I'm down to $0 could I call that person and say, hey, can you help me? I learned my lesson in Atlanta. And see, these are the things. Like I said, I go through these things so I can, okay, this is what I'm saying. The only people that I knew to call, that I knew had my back, was one of my cousins and the two women that was in this group that I called. Well, three of them that had me. Well, for all y'all. Matter of fact, all y'all had me. One came and picked me up. Not family members, one family member. I had family members live there. But all of you came through for me in such a way that I thought, yeah, it's okay. Okay, sis. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. We out here spending time with people that don't even care about us.
Exactly.
Well, I use my best friend. Yeah, I rock with you. Do you really? Just call and see. Just test them. Girl, we need some groceries.
Huh.
Or I need $20 for gas. Who got it? Okay. So when we talk about that, we should be, and he said it, we should be rhythmically moving together. There should be a time that we could just know. So I had a friend at the time. I remember this girl, never forget her. And I was staying literally, I think I told you guys the story. I was staying like right across this parking lot. And I was in the process about to file for bankruptcy. She's in Texas. I'm in Colorado. She called me. I didn't answer the phone. She left a message and then she called me back. And I happened to pick up the phone and she said, I don't know what you're doing. She said, but I was reading my word and God told me to tell you that he shall supply your needs according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus. At that very moment, I had all my papers sitting out on the bed, lining it up so I can file for bankruptcy. You know what I did? Okay, well, so I just folded it up and put it away. Didn't even get the attorney or nothing. Was finna write the man a check so he can start my bankruptcy. She said, I'm in the process. This girl's in Texas. I'm here in Colorado. She said, I was reading my word and you hit my spirit and God told me. And she called and left the message to confirm what she told me when she called me. She said, God told me to tell you he shall supply your needs according to his riches and glory by Christ. She said, Tarina, I don't know what you're doing. She said, but God said, don't you do it. I was like, oh, man. So heartbreaking because it's like, I know I needed this help. He said, no, in the middle. I'm filling out the paperwork. I mean, just signing it away, got all my bills, just trying to line them up. And she was like, he said, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Never forget her, Cher Hardaway. That was her name. So we are in all these different states. If we are in our word and if we are in our prayer closet, like we say we are, there should never be a time that we don't get a word for each other, for ourselves, and then come here and confirm that which God has told us. That was my expectation. And let me say that that was a hidden expectation. When we rose to this occasion in 2024, I just thought, okay, so we got it. We've arisen. And I thought at that moment, and this was my hidden expectation, that I had the expectation that we had gone this long and that everybody now was at this place. We got on the plane, we have rode the plane, we have got to our destination. Now we're here. And it was my expectation that now we're going to start doing the miracle signs and wonders. Hidden expectation. Didn't even, well, and I think I said it. I remember saying it. Now it's time for us to do the miracle signs and wonders. But what happened? And if any part of this was on me and my error, that is what I have asked God. If any of this, if any of the delays, if any of the non-movement, and what he says is, if there was nothing here, where was it? Spirit, give it to me. The personal integrity. If there was no mature behavior in me, if there was something in me that was lacking in teaching you guys as the teacher, I'm sorry. Okay? Where you guys where it was like it says here in the message, he don't want anybody strolling off down some path that goes nowhere. You know, sitting around on your hands, not in fits and starts where you start a thing and then you stop a thing. If I've done that, and if I've made that thing where it is that cohesive piece, please forgive me. Because I said, God, I know we should be so far, they should be so much further along. Like, and if it was me, when I'm starting it, stopping, and then I get into these like, okay, well, no one showed up today. What do I need to do kind of thing. I just I have to kind of think about that. Was it me? Was it my fault? And if it was, y'all let me know. You could tell me personally, you could tell me through a text, and do whatever. But because if I don't know, I can't move forward in that. You know what I'm saying? So with that accountability, there's going to be some assignments, and there's going to be tasks that are required. You have to do this. And what it's going to require is it requires you to get in your word. Okay. I know some of it, we go to church. Some of us go to church because I don't go to church. Y'all know I don't go to church. Church is here. But it requires us to get in our word and to study. That's why the Bible says to study to show thyself approved. You're not doing this for me, but you're doing it in a way where you're coming and you're communing with God, and you're getting the understanding of what he's wanting you to do. What's my assignment for today? God, where do I need to go? When I'm waking up in the morning, what's the first thing I'm doing? It's about being committed to the cause, and committed not so much as to the committed to the cause, yes, but he's saying also being committed to yourself. Because if you can make a commitment to yourself, that means you can make a commitment to Christ, God. You ain't got to make a commitment to me. It's making a commitment to him so that you can know where you're going, how you're going, where you're going, when you're going, where you're going. All of the above. Where we're not wallowing in the pigsty, day after day, week after week, doing the same thing over and over again. Okay? So, with that being said, we are going to, I'm going to divvy out the assignments, because isn't there 5 of us in the group? 6. There's 6 of us. Oh, 6.
7.
Is Brianna, well, let me see. It says Brianna, Tara, Tangela, Gail, Zakia, and Rhonda.
Should be 7.
Well, I'm number 7. All right. So I know Gail hasn't been here in a while.
Mention it to her though, so she's aware.
So I will send out different assignments to each of you.
Okay.
And if you have questions, you let me know. I'm not going to send it in the group message, okay? Because I don't want anybody, how can I say it? Trying to dip into something that staying in that not in their lane. I want you to stay in your lane. I want you to seek God for the assignment that I'm going to give you. And here's what I want you guys to understand. The assignment that I'm giving is not an assignment that I'm just giving. I'm giving the assignment that he's telling me to give to you. Okay. So it may take a couple of days, but just know that the assignment's going to come. And the reason, now this is something that I went through and I talked to, I had a conversation with one of the ladies and I've been dealing with this and I've been trying to get us on track and I want you guys to start moving the wheel. Okay. Life, your life, our life should be so much better, so much grander, so much prosperous, so much more elevated, so much more relaxed and calm than what it is. And I had to ask God, God, what did I do? What happened? And I laid all of the burden on me. I laid all of it on me. I took everything because I was like, well, God, I'm the head of the group. Well, it's me. And I want you guys to understand that I'm just one person and I'm here to help you. Yes, I'm the coach, but being a coach, if I put you on the playing field, I want to know that you're going to be able to tackle the demon. I want to
Mm-hmm.
know that you're going to be able to catch the ball when the ball's thrown to you. I want to know that if I'm not there, that you'll be able to run the race, that you'll be able to play the game. That you'll be able to play the game of life without me being present with you. I want to know that and that's why Jesus said, oh, you wicked people, how long am I going to be here? How long am I going to do this? I'm teaching you what to do, and y'all act like you don't know what to do. And I'm not saying y'all, but I'm just saying this is what he's telling them. Y'all act like y'all don't know what to do. I've been sitting here teaching you for how long? How long am I going to be here? So for me, I want you guys to be able when if there be a day that I'm not here, I want to know that even outside of this group, that you will be able to come back and report the miracles, signs, and wonders. And what God said to me during prayer. And God said this to me. That is what my desire was. That was what my desire was in 2024. And it was like I said, the unexpected, like the hidden expectation that I had. Because I was like, oh, we've elevated, we done graduated, we done made it. And my expectation was at that moment that you guys were going to take the baton and you were going to run the race and you were going to do it and you were going to seek God. Okay. So when we get back to Isaiah, and he keeps leading me back to Isaiah 55. Let me go back to that. Isaiah 55 and 11. 8 through 11. This is in the amp message. It says, I don't think the way you think. The way you work isn't the way I work. For as the skies soar high above the earth, so the way I work surpasses the way you work. And the way I think is beyond the way you think. He said, just as the rain and the snow descends from the skies, I don't go back until they've watered the earth, doing their work of making things grow and blossom. He said, producing seed for farmers and food for the hungry. So will the word that come out of my mouth not come back empty handed. They'll do the work I sent them to do. They'll complete the assignment I gave them. Verse 6 and 7 starts out, seek God while he's here to be found.
He may be found.
He said, pray to him while he's close at hand. Let the wicked abandon their way of life and the evil their way of thinking. Let them come back to God who is merciful. Come back to our God who is lavish with forgiveness. That's the message. The Amplified tells us to do this. Um, it says, seek the Lord while he may be found. Call on him for salvation while he is near. Let the wicked leave behind his way and the unrighteous man his thoughts. We are so unrighteous in our thoughts. If we are thinking still negative thoughts and woe is me and oh, it's not going to work and it's not going to produce the fruit that I said, that's like us sowing a seed and saying, oh, it's not going to grow. He's like, well, why are you planting the seed? Why are you asking me to go a place and then when I send you there, you doubt me sending you there? You doubt the road that I'm sending you on. Why would you do that? He said, and let him return to the Lord, and he will have compassion, mercy on him. He'll have mercy. And to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. He said, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are my ways, nor your ways my ways, declares the Lord. He said, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. He said, for as the rain and the snow come from heaven, he said, and do not return there without watering the earth, making it bear and sprout, and providing seed to the sower and bread to the eater. He says, so will my word, which goes out of my mouth, it will not return unto me void, unless without result, without accomplishing what I desire. He said, and without succeeding in the matter for which I sent it. If I be in you and you be in me, you have that capacity to do that. But you can't get the word if you don't come to me. Call me while I'm here. I'm right here. What do you need from me? Make it so specific that when I give it to you, you'll know it was me. There was a lady that was on TikTok and I seen her and she was talking about she said she was setting her intentions for something and she had said she was flipping through some cars and she said she seen the color green. And so she said she told God, um, let me know that it's that my intent that it's coming by just showing me the color green. That lady went through that whole thing, and when you got to the end, she said, "Well, this is where I'm at right now." So she said the color green hurt. I'm gonna send it to you guys so you can see it. Just phenomenal. Show me a sign that my what I've asked you for, God, is coming. Do you what was that scripture, Jesus? Who was it? Let me think. When he asked him, he said, he poured the water on the altar. If you're gonna be with me, make it dry. But if you ain't, who was that at the altar?
I don't remember
He was Gideon. I want to say it was Gideon.
that. Water pouring in the temple.
No, was it drinking water test? The biblical story of Gideon, a test was conducted to determine which members of his army would accompany him. No, that wasn't it. That was the drinking of the water. But there was another one. Uh,
The water pouring.
yeah, he poured the water on the altar and told him, if you're going to be with me, dry it up. And um, who was the person? Um, wasn't Elijah? Noah.
Mm-mm.
Not Elisha. It was oh, person who called the mother and asking. Let me see. Gideon. It was Gideon. Okay,
Oh,
so the individual who tested God by pouring water on the altar and asking God to be dried up was Elijah. He did it a part of a challenge. No, Gideon Those of early. Okay, yes. So Judges chapter 6. And then we got 2 minutes.
You said Judges?
Yep. Judges chapter 6. Let's see. Verse 38. The sign of the fleece. So this starts in 36. So it says, then Gideon said to God, this is at the Amplified, but this is the testing. It's like the Gideon is visited. And okay, so this is the altar Baal destroyed. Then it goes to the sign of the fleece. So then Gideon said to God, if you are going to rescue Israel through me, okay, so this is what I want
Mhm.
y'all to see. If you go rescue my family through me, okay, as you have spoken, or if you're going to bless me the way you said, God, if you're going to do this thing through me, if you're going to show me the miracle, if you're going to elevate whatever through me, I want you guys to kind of look at this, and go into the scripture and rewrite it and give that message to God. God, if you're gonna rescue, or if you're gonna bless me, if you're gonna touch my finances in whatever way, as you promised, whatever he spoke to you, as you promised, he said, behold, I will put a fleece freshly sheared wool on the threshing floor. If there is dew only on the fleece, and it is dry on all and it is dry on all the ground around it, he said, then I will know you will rescue the Israel through me. Then I will know that you will do the thing that I've asked for, that you said through me, that you'll do this for me or through me. Okay. He says, um, and it was so. When he got up early the next morning and squeezed the dew out of the fleece, he wrung it from a bowl full of water. Then Gideon said to God, God, don't be angry. Okay, don't get mad at me again. All right, just ah. He said, so that I may speak once more. He said, make please let me make a test once more with this fleece. Now let only the fleece be dry, and let there be dew on the ground. God did so that night, for it was dry only on the fleece, and there was dew on the ground all around it. All right.
Okay.
The question that we ask God is, God, if you give me a sign for Real Ministries and Coaching, this group of women, we should have miracles, signs, and wonders. God, give me a sign.
Give
Show
me a sign.
me whatever it is that you need to be seen. Whatever, something that you probably would never think to see, ever, ever, ever. Something that is so um that you probably would never see in your area, in your demographic, or in your region. God, show me this thing. If you said that you're going to bless me, and write the letter, write it the way Gideon said it. God, if you are going to do blank through me, for me, and with me, as you have spoken, behold, I will put whatever it is on the threshing floor, in my room, on my altar. Okay. If there is this on whatever I gave, whatever it is that you asked for, he said, if this is happening to this, if this thing happens to it, he said, then I will know you will do the thing through me, for me, and with me, as you have said. He said, and it was so. So when he got up the next morning, whatever he asked for, it happened. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said, okay, God, don't get mad at me, but I want to test you again. Okay. So just to be sure, and Gideon's like, I got to be sure, just to be sure. He said, let only this thing be the opposite of what I did the first time. Okay. Just so I could be sure. Okay. just to be, it's like Gideon saying, I'd rather be safe than sorry. You know what I'm saying? Um, let's see. So this is the message. Gideon said to God, if this is right, if you are using me to save Israel, as you have said, then look, I'm placing fleece of wool on the threshing floor. If dew is on the fleece only, but the floor is dry, then I know you will use me to save Israel as you have said. That's what happened. When he got up early the next morning, he wrung out the fleece, enough dew to fill a bowl with water. Amen. 39 says, then Gideon said to God, don't be impatient, God. Don't with me, but let me say one more thing. Let me just do it one more time. He said, I want to try another time with the fleece. He said, but this time let the fleece stay dry while the dew drenches the ground. God made it happen that very night. Only the fleece was dry while the ground was wet. That's Judges chapter 6. I wonder what happens in chapter 7. I don't know. Um, this is when he told you got too many people around you. Okay. Verse chapter 7. Now he's telling Gideon, you got too many. Okay. You got too many people in your circle. You got too many people trying to hang out with you. I'm going to need you to kind of tone it down a little bit. Okay. This is chapter 7. Got too many. So this is the water test. Now he's going to tell him, I need you to watch and I need you to understand. Okay. There's different ones. There's the lapping, there's the kneeling, and then there's God's choice. Come on here, God. And the church said, amen. Listen, it's 8 o'clock. Um, I love y'all.
Love you too, Miss Lady.
All right. And then I will send you guys your assignments separately. If you have questions, concerns, if you need help, that is what I'm a teacher. I'm gonna help you. All right.
All right.
Now, Miss Zakia, I see your face.
Hmm?
Why don't you just take us out in prayer, ma'am?
Oh, I'm all right.
Okay.
We'll go. That's it, the assignment, ma'am. Go
Oh.
ahead and exit us out in the word of the Lord.
Um.
Hmm. So I'm gonna stop you right there. Hold on. This is why we have to be better. We got to be better. And it's not just for us, for ourselves, but it's for the masses. Because at the end of it all, I don't want the blood on my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I really don't. And if I'm here to teach you to be the teacher, I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure that you are getting what you need to get and so that you will not fail at any part of life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that means this. I don't know if we need to start a prayer group in the morning because I'm up early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Early in the morning. But I'm up early. If we need to do a prayer call, promise you I'll do it.
Okay.
Because we have to get, and what he said, and you guys kind of you missed the lesson, but what Peter, was it Peter? I think it was Peter that wrote that in Ephesians, where he said we have to be rhythmically working together. That means that when prayer needs to happen, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
When the word needs to go forth, it comes forth. I don't care where you're at, the word needs to come forth because it changes things. We need to be the change that women need in the day to day. This
Right.
group
I
has
agree
to
with
be
that.
so powerful that people know to come. Well, you know what? There's a group of women, okay, and they when I say they pray, they pray. They know how to give a word. They know how to sing a song like a David and soothe your soul. Okay, that is where we need to be. We need to be operating in our gifts. So when I send your list, I'm going to send it privately, but this is where the teaching comes in. I have to make you accountable. And what I said was, if you do not want to be accountable, then please don't show up on Wednesdays. If you do not want to do the work and if you do not want to do the assignments, please don't waste your time coming here on Wednesday. Okay? And I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it 100, and that's just who I am. If you do not want to do the work, it's like a job. If you do not want to go to work, quit your job and don't come back. Okay? This
Right.
is my job, my vocation. This is what I was called to do. And there are times that no, I don't want to come on a Wednesday night. I want to go and I want to lay down. And I was selfish in, years past. I'm not even going to sit up here and hold y'all. I was selfish in years past because I let my emotions get the best of what I was called to do. Rather than like Peter said, being mature. I got emotional and, God. And he said, well, you still could have recorded the lesson. Just because nobody showed up doesn't mean you don't still record. Don't not do what I told you to do. 2025, he said, and I told him, if and they don't show up, I'm still going to do the lesson and I'm still going to send it to you guys because it still lets you know that I'm actively doing what he told me to do. But we got to be more accountable for ourselves and each other. So just think of that night that we was on the call last Wednesday and Miss Rhonda was on this call and I bypassed what I saw and didn't pray for her. Not saying that we were just all powerful, that I am, but what if I didn't do that day? Those are the things that I'm talking about. When you see it, when you get the unction, do it. We shouldn't be sitting here not walking in the miracles. We should not be healthy and prosperous and living to the above our means. We shouldn't be. Walking in depression, walking in anxiety, confusion. No, we are not doing that anymore.
And that's my biggest thing, like, is with just the depression and the anxiety, because for whatever reason, and I feel like I'm dealing with this again and I can't break it. And I'm just like, I mean, when I tell y'all I didn't packed up crystal, I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know. And I thought, so I had to go back to the emergency room day before yesterday because I was like, I don't know what this feeling is. And they ran more because I lost a lot of blood when doing the procedure. So they didn't have to give me any, but I did lose a lot. So I was like, well, it's the same feeling for me thinking when I had my previous surgeries. And I was like, okay, so I called the doctor and I said, well, just go to the emergency room. So I had to pull over on the freeway, sit there for about 15 to 20 minutes. Finally was able to, I went to the emergency room and they was like, well, everything's fine. They did a whole full panel EKG, all the good work stuff. And I was just like, okay, what is this? And then I got to thinking, I was talking to my daughter. I was like, well, maybe it's anxiety. So me and the doctor, before I left out of the emergency room, I was like, well, she was like, well, because I do have bad anxiety, and my anxiety is to where I pass out.
Oh.
And yeah, I have that. And that's why I don't, and I'm not, and I have social anxiety too. So I deal with but I used to then be like that because I was so often to the church, but it's not that way now. So, and I'm like, okay, what is this feeling? I thought about it, I said, this anxiety. So when I had that feeling again, I was like, oh, I can't breathe. Like, wasn't so much to where I normally feel. But it was just like, oh, this feels the same. I was like, but why am I having it? Because I don't feel like nothing's wrong, you know. And then I thought about it. She said, well, if you have that feeling again, take your regimen that I use, which is a Valium. I have different regimens that I use for it, but I'm on Valium now. So I'm like, okay. And I did it. And I was like, that's what it was. It was in my anxiety had been messing with me because, my mom just had a 2-year death anniversary.
Yeah.
And I thought I had dealt with that a month and a half ago. And I was like, okay, I'm over that. But on the 30th of May, I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, dang, I actually did pretty good because I thought it would be but I had dealt with it. But I was like, so why am I having these anxieties? This anxiety coming back to me for whatever reason. And I hadn't figured that out. And that's one of my problems. And I I'm trying to catch it because I do also suffer from depression, and I don't want to be back in those dark spots. And I keep telling myself, and I tell myself 2025 is going to be the year for me where I'm going to come out, I'm going to step out, I'm going to bloom this year. And I be in there talking to myself, y'all, in the mirror,
You
and I
know,
have my days.
it's like David. David had to encourage himself in the Lord. Can you imagine just being by yourself and nobody being there to talk to you? Remember, we talked about that last week where when you're going through things and you're not able to talk to, like you call and you know you got that one homegirl that you can call and be like,
And
hey,
I don't do it.
and she don't answer the phone. You call, but then you can't get through. I have had it to where I'll try to call somebody and the phone won't go through and it'll just say calling. I don't hear no ringtone. Have you ever had that
Mm-hmm.
happen? Where you don't
Mm-hmm.
hear no ringtone? Text messages don't go through. Nothing happens. He said, because I don't want you to keep relying on man to do what
Mm.
I can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
You calling your home girl, and I'm the only one that you need to call. That's why we talked about Isaiah 55. Call upon him while he is yet near,
Mm-hmm.
where he can be found. God, I need your help because I'm tired. I'm tired of being low in spirit, suffering from anxiety,
I
worrying about these
am. I'm
things.
so
Like,
tired of that. I'm
yeah.
so tired of that. Like,
So he's telling you that's the message. When you get those things, it's the wake up call. Hey, I need you to come talk to me. We talked about that tonight where we were talking about the gifts, our fivefold ministry, our gifts. And
mm-hmm.
so I told you guys last week, how can you give a word? How can you get a word when you don't come to the word?
Mm.
It's a matter of God, help. How do I conquer this anxiety? That's in your prayer closet because he said, when you come to me in secret, I'll reward you openly. It'll be to a point, Miss Rhonda, where you're out in public and you won't even be suffering from the social anxiety because that's the kind of God that I serve. That's who I know. I
Right.
know him to be the God that will say, like okay, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've given y'all testimonies of where I've been in jail. I remember it. That wasn't supposed to go home until January 6th of 2004. December 19th, 2003, I went home. I wasn't supposed to go home until the new year. I remember, I hung up that phone. I went back to my car and I said, God, if you be the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, you will let me go home to see my kids. I have never missed a Christmas nor a New Year's. When I said that prayer, in the background, God was working. He's working.
Mm-hmm.
My attorney's going through all this thing. He said, came to me on a weekend at the jail and said, slid the paper across. I believe in the God of I normally never do this. Because that's what it was. The God of I normally never do this because it happened to me twice. He slid the paper across and said, the judge granted to see you early. December 19th, 2003, I got out of jail. When I had to go back to court, the attorney, the DA, was trying to charge me and give me 5 years.
Mm.
The judge said, nah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do it this way. You come back in a year, you keep doing what I tell you to do. You come back in a year, we're going to do what we got to do. I got off the elevator a year later. The DA that was trying to give me 5 years walked up to me and said, Miss Cannon, and I said, yes, sir. He said, listen, I normally never do this. That was the second man that told me that. The second person, he said, I normally never do this. He said, but I'm going to go ahead and drop these charges. I'm going to drop it from here to here. When we leave here, you go down, do A, B, C, D, da, 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 da. He said, but don't tell him I told you to do it. But you go down there and do this so you can seal your record so you can go ahead and live a healthy life. He said, I just don't believe you have it. That's the God that I serve. The whole year that I was making my restitution payments, I remember it. Every time I make a payment, I told God, I just want my life back. I just want my life back. I just want me. I'm tired of the
Right.
label. People have labeled you. Well, she's this. They labeled me as a
Mm-hmm.
thief. God, I just want my life back. That whole year I made that payment. I went into the court, got off the elevator, hadn't even made it to the courtroom. The DA met me. Think, Miss Cannon? I said, yes, sir. So that's where I want us to be. Before you got on the call, that's what we were talking about. We were about to leave, but I was
Oh,
telling,
yeah, I
no,
was at work. I'm sorry.
you're good. You're good. I believe everything happens for the way it needs to happen. I'm never going to stifle a person. I'm never going to cut you off. I'm never going to not feed you when you come to the
Mm-hmm.
table. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the matter of when those things come up. That's why he's saying, call me, Rhonda, because I can help you. I'm the only one that can help you. Shaquisha can't help you, Janet can't help you, Becky, nobody can help you but me. I'm the only one that can help you because he said, I am the way, the truth, and the light. No one can come to the Father except through me. You can't even get to God until you get to the Word. That's a message in itself. You can't get to God until you get to the Word. You got to go through the Word just to get to Him. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Simple prayer. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. God, give me this day my daily bread and forgive me for my debts as I forgive my debtors. Lead me, God, not into the temptation, but deliver me from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. That's the simplest prayer that you can say, and then get out your bed and go on about your day. And allow the still small voice to tell you what you need to do to get out of depression. God, how do I get out of this pit? It's like you're sinking in quicksand. And he's like, well, I'm the only one that's going to get you out of it. I'm the only one that can do that for you. That's why there's what's that song, Tara, where it says all around us is sinking sand? Christ, the solid rock I stand. That's what he's telling you. I can build your life on the solid foundation, but you got to come to me so I can teach you how to build it. If I can teach a David how to build a whole palace and a whole kingdom, what makes you think that I can't tell you how to build your life so that you'll be anxiety free, that you'll be debt free, that you'll be in a healthy relationship? What makes you think that I couldn't help you do that? I gave stringent instructions to a day and a Noah. I gave Noah, hey, go get some wood and make it this by this, build it this way, put the window over there, and bring 2 of every one, male and female, so they can procreate. So that when the land dries up, you'll see the bird before you see the land. Because he sent the dove to let you know that, oh, you're on dry land now. Birds before the land. Absolutely. I don't know who that was for.
Got it.
Okay. You'll see the bird before you see your blessing. That's how you know it's coming. So ask God to give you what you need. I'll create the foundation. I'm the solid rock. On Christ the solid rock I stand. I am the chief cornerstone. I'm the one when they build the foundation, I'm in the corner to make it solid, to make the foundation so that you know that you can come here at any moment in time and I can change the whole trajectory of your life. But you have to come to me, all ye that are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I'll take the burdens. I'll take all of that. That's why he said, cast your cares upon me, Rhonda. Anything that you need, just give it to me and let me give you my what is that? That peace that surpasses all understanding. When all hell is breaking loose, you calm. People are like, is she crazy? That's the kind of God that I serve. Okay.
And for whatever reason, he keep taking me back to the book of Ruth again. And I'm like, I done been to the book of Ruth. I can't tell you how many times taking me back to the book of Ruth. I said, okay, I just have to get back in the book of Ruth again. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what this is. And I'm so, and the crazy part about, I'm aware of it. And I really thought I was doing so better at things, and I don't know.
It's like how can I say it? Let me give you the analogy that they just gave me. High school. I was so great. Oh God, I was great. I was average. Okay. There was one day that I said I want to get on the honor roll. And I did it. But because no one else celebrated me, I didn't do it again. My senior year comes and I started falling off. I started kind of just, whatever. And I almost didn't graduate. And I had one teacher, Mr. Doyle, Brendan Doyle. And I remember I was failing his class. And I remember he had me do this assignment. So I did the assignment, did it well. Because back then, we didn't have Google. We had to go. I was in the library. When senior checkout came, I was still in school. Embarrassing. Because I didn't take the initiative to take care of myself and do it for me. I'm out there trying to hang with people that really didn't give a shit if I graduated or not. This is what I'm telling you. With people that didn't even care. I'm fucking up and not even realizing that I was not about to graduate until I got the notice that I was failing 2 classes. Brendan Doyle told me, I need you to do this assignment. So I did the assignment diligently. Okay, because here's the thing. Like you said, I know I could do it, Miss Rhonda. I knew I could do it. But somewhere along the way, I just dummied myself down because I wanted to fit in with people that didn't care. Rather than just be the teacher and the person that I was meant to be, I wanted to be and I wanted to fit in so fucking bad that I just went and I was just doing it was dumb stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Long of the short, Mr. Doyle told me to do an assignment, 3-page assignment. I finished the assignment, and this is right before graduation because you had to make sure you were all checked out, whatever. And so this is right before graduation. And I finished the assignment, and there was a deadline. So I hit the well, I did it before the deadline. So I go into his class, and he's got the freshmen in there, and I handed them the paper. Mr. Doyle looked at it. He didn't even read it. He didn't even grade it. You know what he did?
Mm-hmm.
He took it and tore it in half and threw it in the trash and looked at me and told me in front of his class, he said, the only reason why I did that. And I said, well, why did you tear it up? He said, because I knew you can do it. He said, but I wanted you to know that you can do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Threw it in the trash and gave me my grade and said, I'll see you at graduation, Miss Cannon. Mm-hmm. So we know to do a thing. The teacher, Mr. Doyle, I need you to know that you can do it. I know that you can. Okay? The God, Jesus, God, Spirit, Holy Spirit, we know, Rhonda, that you can do better. We know that you can speak better for yourself. We know you can. But we want you to do it. We
Right.
want you to do the assignment. So, Ruth, God, I don't know why you got me studying Ruth. What is it that I need to know about a Ruth that equates to a Rhonda? What do I need to know? Help me understand what it is about Ruth. Okay?
Yeah.
Ruth and Naomi.
Yeah.
Okay? There's such a powerful message in that. But God, what does it mean for me? You
Means,
can't
yeah.
get the word if you don't come to him.
Mm-hmm.
If I gave you Ruth, that means I need you to understand something in there. It
In
doesn't have
there.
anything
Yeah.
to do with a Boaz. It has everything to do
Right.
with her tenacity. Where you
Mm-hmm.
go, I go. Your God, my God. Okay? Now we got to eat. So I'm finna go out here in these fields and I'm finna do all this what I got to do. Without reason. I gotta do what I gotta do. Then the testing comes. Now you go lay at his feet. You do what I tell you to do. Go lay at his feet. You don't do nothing else but lay at that man's feet. Don't say nothing to him. And he will bless you. So it's a matter of you going to God, laying at his feet and saying, God, listen, I don't know. I don't know what you got me doing right now. I don't know what the lesson is. But I'm gonna be silent because Naomi told her, go lay at his feet and don't you say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You let him bless you. Okay, that's what she told. Go lay at his feet and just let him bless you. So it's those moments, the testing. We all every day we are ever learning. We are ever going to school. We are ever learning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can't graduate if you don't do the assignment. Okay,
Yeah.
you don't do the assignment, Miss Rhonda, you cannot graduate, and that's what they're saying. This is like a lesson. No, you're not going to graduate to the next level because you didn't pass this assignment. You got to pass this test, and then we'll see what we can if you get to the next level.
God bless you, Ladybug. I'm sorry, y'all.
That's
All
okay.
right. I love you. Good night. Yeah. And I said I was gonna get back in, and I don't know. Then I was telling myself, I was like it was just a lot. It was a lot of things. And I'm the type of person like I'm I don't know. Not so much that I got a problem with like disclosing things to people. I've always been the person that had to handle things on my own and figure things out. But now I feel like as an older woman at 50, like it does do good sometimes to talk to somebody. Now I'm not gonna talk to everybody because my trust is just how, you know, I'm just not. But I feel very comfortable here. And I know, like, when I strayed away from y'all for a while, just personal issue, just going through dealing with things myself. And I'm like, that this is not,
You
it's
cannot
not
do that.
helping.
You
And my daughter
cannot.
kept telling me, she said, Mama, you was so active in the women's group, and I felt like it did you good. Like, she was like, you're not going. And it was just like, and she would say that to me in spells all the time. And I meditated on that, and I was like, dang, like I was very active. I felt better when we got off on our meetings. I was doing the work, and I was just like, I don't know what took place of what made me just not do anything, not it pertaining to the women's group and just in general.
Yeah.
But
Life.
yeah, and and,
But it's
and I want to
also,
be held accountable.
well, I promise you, he just got me last week. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be like I'm being like I'm being rough, but it's just you guys
Mhm.
gotta do it. You gotta do the work. You
Right.
cannot keep coming to this group every week. And it's like I'm the one. I'm here. But then I gotta go and fill myself back up to come and give you something that you're not even
Good
gonna
night.
take and
I
do
love you.
and fill
Good night.
yourself back
Good
up.
night.
So
Mhm.
you guys got to do the
Yeah.
work. You
No.
have to do the work. And it's
Yeah.
really, the work is not for me. It is for you. It's to build up your
Right.
spiritual stamina. It's to build up your spiritual, your walls. It's to build up your spiritual foundation. It's nothing to do with Tarina. I'm just here to give you to the lessons and the teachings so that when you
Mhm.
graduation time comes, you can put on your robe and your cap and gown and you can take your little thing, you can go across and you can do what you got to do. And we can hear the dun 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 because you done graduated to another level. Okay, that's what this is about. That's what this group is about. It's about elevation and it's about getting you to where you have to be. We talked about that. It's in the message, so when I download it, you'll see it. But it's about, like Paul said, or I want to say it's Paul or Peter, one of them. He don't want you sitting on your hands no more, where you're just sitting on your hands and you're not moving. That's why the Bible, there's a script there. I don't want to say it's a scripture, but there's a saying that says an idle mind is a devil's workshop. If you ain't doing nothing, he finna get in your head and make you think that you ain't worthy, that you're not worth it, that you're this, that you're broke, that you don't have nothing, that God don't love you, that you're unlovable. He will get in your mind. That's why he said, let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus. The mind of Christ is where we need to be. Okay?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go. We were supposed to leave at 8, but it's 8:30.
Oh, sorry, y'all. And because I'm gonna try to. If I don't catch it from the beginning, I'll still try to hop on. I got off a little late
That's all right.
tonight, but yeah, and I'll try to hop on and
Well, it's recorded. So if you don't ever make it, just know it's recorded and I send it and you can watch it. And if you have questions, please ask me. That's why I'm here.
okay.
Okay.
Well, I do have a question, and it's pertaining to health. I need to really find a good probiotic for women to get to like I done went bought all my little teas, and I'm a tea person anyway, but I went bought some different teas, but I don't know what's a good one. I've been kind of researching. I picked out one or two and I bought one, but it was like cost me like $30, but I need a really good that's gonna give me everything that I need, pre and pro.
You need moringa's a good one. Black seed
Moringa.
oil is
Okay.
very good.
Okay.
Black seed oil is like the cure, the piece to the resistance. It's
Okay.
like the top notch. So I take black seed oil every morning. I take moringa. I take zinc. I take magnesium at night.
Yeah, I remember you. Yeah.
I take, what else do I take? Fish oil. Um, but again, Miss Rhonda, see how that happens? It's good night. It's God, what do I need to take?
Right. Right.
God, find me a good probiotic.